bourbon finished in French oak barrels? Stick around to find out what that's all about. I'm Big Al, and welcome to Whiskey Straight, where today my spiritual odyssey is continuing with a look at something just a little bit different from Rebel Yell. I chanced upon this particular expression when I was perusing Master of Malt, and that's always a dangerous endeavour, I find, and having a bit of a soft spot for Rebel Yell in general, I just had to click on that buy now button, and you all know what I'm about to say is true. That button always gets a wee bit bigger and increasingly inviting, particularly when you've had a few on board. Most of you have been there, I guarantee it. But anyway, this has flown under the radar for many, and I certainly wasn't aware of it until I just happened upon it. And it's basically been released to cater for a specific market, and that's what Lux Row, who obviously own Rebel Yell, have said. Now, and that market is the UK market. They've released this to say because demand was growing for something a bit more unique from whisky lovers in the UK of all places. So initially this has been limited to 6,000 bottles, and unfortunately for some who are watching this, it's only available in the UK, France and Italy. Right. Perhaps if Lux Row consider this initial rollout to be a success, they will maybe market it a wee bit more widespread in due course, but I guess we're just going to have to wait and see on that front. Now, there's not a whole big pile of information available about this particular bottling, but what we do know is that it's a Kentucky straight bourbon, and because there's no age statement on it, we know that it's at least 4 years old, and after the bourbon process is then transferred and spends the final 6 months finishing in French oak wine barrels before being bottled at 45%. Dubbed by the company as a defiantly smooth wheated bourbon, this offering has a mash bill of 70% corn, 25% wheat and 5% malted barley, and it's decently priced at 30 quid to boot. So there you have it. Now, a wee bit of history, not a lot mind you. As some of you may or may not know indeed, that Rebel Yell is actually named after the famous battle cry of the Confederate soldiers during the American Civil War. Have a listen here for yourselves. So there you have it. If you want to find out a wee bit more about the history of Rebel Yell and Lux Row and delve deeper into things, I'll put the appropriate links in down below so you can check them out yourselves, and I'll also put a wee link up here to a previous review of Rebel Yell Rye, where I explored a bit of the history behind the distillery and the brand. So let's get into this right and see if it really does offer something a wee bit different and unique. Don't forget, pour yourself a wee dram as well and have a drink with me as I go through this. Sláinte. Have a wee look at the colour first, and I'll just hold it a wee bit closer there for you so you can see it. It is like a kind of a tawny appearance, and have a look at the legs now as well. Yeah, you can see that they're pretty decent as well. They're reasonably thick and not too fast, so let's get right on into the nosing. Right from the off, just as you're approaching the Glencairn with your nose, there is an immediate oaky woodiness which is pretty distinct, and then as you get a bit closer it becomes more toasted in nature, and then right in the back of that here comes some nice light and fruity aromas which make a very pleasant appearance. And I'm getting some raisins as well, but not overly drying in nature as you tend to get with quite a lot. And there's a nice sort of juicy element coming in as well, and that's from an aroma of like a blend between apples and pears. But then now as you get right into it, the deeper flavours appear. charred oak, espresso. Really, really nice nosing experience so far. There's quite a lot going on here. And then there's a touch of spice. Now it manifests itself initially as nutmeg, a bit of black pepper, and that's tempered to a degree with what I can only describe as vanilla flavoured toffee. It's neither one nor the other, but like a blend of the two. And now a nice orange zestiness joins in the party before there's a nice big burst of cinnamon that comes through, and it actually does tingle the nostrils to a certain extent. I do have to say now it's a really, really nice nosing experience, quite complex in the nose, quite a lot going on, and hopefully we'll see if that can live through to the palate. So let's jump right in for a taste. Cheers. Very nice. Dark cherries, a wee surprising burst of strawberry, and then it's burnt brown sugar, a bit like creme brulee, barrel char, and then a nice burst of spice. Initially black pepper, and then it rises to a nice, but not too much of a cinnamon burn. Quite pleasing. Interesting first sip. Let's go again. Stone fruits, apricot, plum, and then there's some candied vanilla coming through, like artificial vanilla, and crushed almonds as well. But now interestingly, as this settles on the palate, I'm getting a gentle, like tongue tingling sensation of lavender, and it's bringing back the memory of those lovely sweets that I just loved when I was a young'un, and that's Parma violets. Oh, if only I could get out and buy some now. I don't just hate when something comes into your head and you get a longing for it, and they're like, balls, I'm stuck in the house, I can't get out. But just in case you don't know what Parma violets are, I'll pop on a wee picture there, and if you've never had them, get them. Really, really nice. But anyway, let's get back to the whiskey. There's a nice zesty, orangey element coming through, and that does add a nice contrast, a wee bit of sweetness to some of the other darker flavours that I was getting. And with that orange, there comes in a touch of effervescence with it as well. But then as it starts to dissipate, here comes that candied artificial vanilla again. And while I'm a big fan of vanilla, the sort of like candied artificial side of it doesn't really do a lot for me, although it's not too off-putting here. Now the mouthfeel, it's quite malty and it is pretty smooth. Well, you're probably going to expect that from a wheater anyway, because they generally do tend to be a bit more on the smooth side, even though there is a good hint of spiciness here. But what initially promises to be a rich mouth coating experience, unfortunately it thins out pretty quickly, and that's a wee bit disappointing for an ABV of 45%. And the finish is disappointing too. And although there's a nice combination of flavour in here, apart from that wee artificial vanilla thing, you know, it don't hang around too long, and it just fades way too quick for my liking. Now overall, for what you're getting here, particularly for the price, it's definitely one to pick up if you get the chance. You know, in all likelihood, it's not going to knock your socks off, but neither should it really be overly disappointing either. The palate doesn't deliver what the nose promises, but it's still a bourbon I like, and I'd pick it up again because it does have positive points in terms of the ABV, a good price point, and there are some nice flavours in there, and it's particularly pleasing on the nose. And when you think about it, it at the end of the day, it does offer something just that wee bit different than you usually get in a bourbon. So for me, that all adds up to a whiskey straight score of 84, which puts it firmly at the top of the good range in my rating system. So please let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and until the next time, stay safe, look after each other, and drink your whiskey the way you like it. Sláinte. Thanks for watching and for your ongoing support. I really do appreciate it. Now don't forget to subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out my other videos. If you'd like to support my channel, check out my Patreon for further details, and also give me a follow on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.